Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good evening. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma warzuqni fahma. All right. We will continue our chapter 3 for this subject. I hope you can refer to chapter 3 lecture notes, okay, that I have shared in You Learn last week. For last week, we have discussed about the IBR, the tariff structure, especially for the base tariff and ICPT tariff. So in January this year, our government has announced about the increments of the ICPT, the tariff for the ICPT, the increment for about if I'm not mistaken, about 30%. So that there was no rebate for the CPT, and now they are surcharged for the commercial and industrial consumer, and except domestic consumer, they are staying enjoy the rebate for about 2 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay, that one current information about tariff in Malaysia, especially for the ICPT tariff. So we are staying refer to the base tariff 39.54 for the base tariff, and the base tariff doesn't change anymore, but the difference to the tariff which is related to the ICPT tariff. So now for today class, we are going to understand about the KMB electricity bill component, especially for the commercial industry. Okay, most of us will work under the commercial industry building later on. So you should understand what are the components of the electricity bill instead of we are talking about the energy kilowatt hour. So there are another consideration for the tariff charge. For example, here maximum demand. So maximum demand kilowatt. We have a kilowatt hour. So this one is the tariff for kilowatt hour. Sen multiply with kilowatt hour consumption. That one is another part, and they are another charge for the basic component of electricity, especially for the commercial and the sale. Okay, so look at these main components. We have maximum demand. So maximum demand over here. Okay, maximum demand. So maximum demand charge will be put in electricity bill of the consumer, especially for the commercial and industrial consumer, plus with the energy charge. Okay, that one will be the main electricity charge, and for the other components, okay, for example, CLC, connected load charge. If there is connected load charge per charge. So later on, we'll explain about what is a CLC, okay, and a power factor charge. If that is the power factor lower, a value lower than the standard one, okay, so a TMB will charge the consumer based on the specific calculation. And also maybe the other components that will be charged for the electricity bill is temporary supply, 30% surcharge. This one is for the building that need temporary supply. For example, genset, the supply genset from the TMB. So this one will be the additional charge for the electricity cost. And welding equipment, this one special for the contractor that use the welding equipment, okay, in the building. So there are another special charge from the TMP to the consumer. 1.6%, this one 1.6% KLWTBB, Kepulauan tabung boleh diperbarui. That one is the another part for the renewable energy or feed-in tariff one, okay, to support the renewable energy. So we have some kind of the bank to put the money, 1.6% for every single consumer in Malaysia. So this money will contribute to develop a good structure for the RE program in Malaysia. So from this money, government has invested the infrastructure for the RE to be developed in Malaysia, and also to support many kind of the program, especially through SEDA, Sustainable Energy Development Authority, to introduce many more kind of program related to renewable energy. And the last component, if this one is available, 1% surcharge for the late payment. If the payment has been paid by the consumer late payment, so this 1% will be charged to the electricity bill. Okay, so remember, please try to understand instead of kilowatt hour. So for residential domestic consumer, they are available of the energy charge only. But for the commercial industrial, there are many more components that TMB will consider to charge the consumer. But for the main component, instead of kilowatt hour, so there is maximum demand charge, okay, per kilowatt. So for example, this building have 1000 kilowatt for the maximum demand. So TMB will put two meters. One is the kilowatt meter and the other one is kilowatt hour meter. So from there, TMB will record the maximum demand, the peak one for the 30 minutes peak in 1 month. So this kilowatt hour will be charged based on the specific price, tariff price, and a specific reflect to the type of the consumer. For example, commercial, industrial, agriculture, mining, etc. Okay. So this one will be the main electricity charge, include the kilowatt hour per several rates of price for the electricity charge. Oh, kurang ni. 66%. 66. Ramai tak masuk lagi ni. So energy pricing, what's the types of the consumer, category of the consumer that has been considered in our power sector. Okay, we have domestic, especially residential consumer, and for the uh, short lot we consider as the one of the low voltage for commercial. Okay, we have commercial C, especially for C, C, B, B and C. Okay, for commercial, industrial, D and E. D for low voltage, for the low voltage, 415, and E1, E2 for the medium voltage, 11 and 33 kV, and E3 present high voltage, 132 and above. So we have also mining, special tariff for mining, street lighting. We have also street lighting tariff, agriculture, and top-up and standby service. This one is like 30% charge, and the other kind of tariff, special for the construction, special for the kind of the rural area that needs a supply from the utility. So definition for a commercial supply, for example, office block, shop, go down, restaurant, school, hotel, boarding house, so etc. Also including the government building for the hospital, university, shopping complex. Okay, that one is the commercial consumer. Okay, instead of commercial, we have industrial. So especially for the manufacturing, quarry, mining, shipbuilding business, etc., that related to process something. Okay, pumping water for water treatment plant, etc. Okay, gas plant, chemical plant. Domestic supply means like residential, so that one is the domestic. Co-generator, so means a generator that use a single primary energy sources. Actually, they have their own generation, top-up supply, the additional supply required by co-generator who that does not produce sufficient electricity for its own use, and some standby supply, the supply that can be provided to the co-generator in the event that the co-generator does not generate electricity due to the plant failure or plant shutdown for maintenance. Okay, so this one is added, another definition for co-generator, which have two kind of the service offered, top-up supply, and the other one is the standby supply. So TNB will charge the consumer due to the standby supply or top-up supply, especially during the electricity plant failure. For example, the manufacturing has their own generator to generate the electricity from the waste. Oil palm, for example, or oil palm manufacturing. Okay, they have their own generator from the waste they process to generate the electricity, and suddenly the plant fail and the waste, the output of the materials, for example, to generate the electricity from the waste cannot be supplied because the plant failure, the process stop. And at that time, they call TNB, and TNB will provide the additional co-generator, especially for the genset one, etc. So TNB will charge the consumer based on the special rate of the electricity price rate. Okay, that one is the top up and standby supply. So what's the others definition of peak period? Okay, in our tariff structure, we have this definition of peak period. Peak period. So what is peak? What is peak and what is off peak period? So off peak periods means that period between 10 p.m. until 8 a.m. from Monday to Sunday. Okay, so we have the definition of the peak period from the TMB. They consider off-peak period, especially for the tariff that they offer with the different price of the off-peak period and peak period. For example, tariff C2 for commercial and E2 for the industry. So TMB offers the very kind of different price rate for both periods, okay, especially for the off-peak. They have offer lower price for the off-peak instead of the peak period, okay. So this one is the definition for the time period for the off-peak from 10 malam to 8 pagi, okay, and for off-peak for the peak period from 8 a.m. in the morning to the 10 p.m. at the night period. So this one is the definition for the off-peak and peak period. So perhaps we will learn about the different kind of the price for one day. They have two kind of the charge for the off-peak and peak period, especially for the C2, E2, and E3. So what is maximum demand? You can see here the different, okay, here the time zone from the peak and off peak. This one is the time zone for the peak and off peak, okay. So maybe TMB will charge the consumer based on the peak and off peak with the different price, of tariff. And maximum demand, the large number of kilowatt hours supplied during any 30 minutes period in a month. So maximum demand will be charged based on the 30-minute period, the peak, the kilowatt supply during any 30 minutes, the large number of kilowatt. For example, in 1 month from the day 1 to the day 30, yeah. So the most peak power that used by the consumer will be taken by the TMB meter, and this one, if let's say that the reading from the meter is 1000 kilowatt hour, and TMB will charge this maximum demand based on the appropriate price that they have set for the specific consumer types. For example, 30 ringgit, okay, RM 30 ringgit. So in the electricity bill, so this one will be RM berapa ni? Total charge for the maximum demand. Dapat berapa? 30K. Okay, so maximum demand charge was 30K and plus with the kilowatt hour. Okay, for example, off-peak period. TMB offer about 0.2 and peak RM 0.36. Okay, for example, and the energy used for the off-peak is 100 kilowatt hour, and for the peak period, they use about 200 kilowatt hour per month. So what is the total bill for this given example here? Okay, you can multiply 100 kilowatt hour with the price rate of the for the off peak. Okay, you can get in RM. So please get the RM for the off peak first, and then after that you can calculate the peak period price. And for the total price, please add all the price for the off peak, peak period, and for maximum demand. So three components that we have for this kind of the off peak and peak. We call it as TOU, time of use time zone, time of use tariff. Time of use tariff, because for one day they have this kind of tariff. They have to price specific for the off peak period and peak period. Berapa kat sini? Siapa boleh kira? Please come up with the last electricity bill for this one. And the maximum demand charge has been given for about 30K, RM 30K. Lastly, you need to come out with the total electricity, which is the main component, okay? Not including the charge, the main component, to get the sum of the contribution from the off-peak period, peak period price, and also for the, okay? Let's consider that this value is for 1 month, 100 kilowatt hour in 1 month. And for the peak period, 200 kilowatt hour for 1 month. So please get the electricity cost for 1 month. Berapa dapat? Please type your answer in the chat box. Any question? Berapa dapat ni? Cuba calculate. Let's try this one. 0.2 RM 0.2 multiply with 100 kilowatt hour. So what's the total cost for the off-peak period?
20 kilowatt hour.
Huh? The price for the off-peak, 0.28 multiply with the 100 kilowatt hour. So we can get the total price, total cost for the off-peak period. Okay, Shafiq, good. 20 RM, 28K, okay. So RM, 28K for the off-peak. And try to get the peak period 0.3 RM 0.36 because RM 0.36 per kilowatt hour. That one is the bill or charge. Let's give say this one is the example. So multiply with 200 kilowatt hour, we can get the cost for the peak period. Dapat berapa? $72K, Shyla. Okay, Adam. Thank you. 72. 72K RM. So plus get the sum for all the components, 72 plus 28 and plus 30. So you can get the monthly bill for this example. So berapa semua sekali bill dia? 130K. Okay, good. 130K. So that's one is the how we can get the bill for the basic component, which is we have considered maximum demand, peak period, and off peak period. Okay, for the time of use, TOU tariff. So definition, public lighting, okay, you can read by your own. This one is the CLC. CLC is refer to the over declaration will lead to over plan, up and waste. So for the first mitigation tool to discourage the consumer from over declaring their load requirement. So this one is related to the load, the power one. When building is was developed, the new building, especially for the new building, they need to declare the power required from the TMP. As the consultant, you need to have the calculation of the load when the building will establish later on. So as the consultant or contractor, you need to have the idea on how you can predict or determine the maximum demand required or power required, the maximum power required to power up your building, your new building or new operation. Okay, so let's say that you apply the maximum or the power, the power that required to power up the buildings is around 5,000 kilowatt. Okay, 5,000 kilowatt, and this CLC charge is proposed by the TMB so that you can manage to have a certain level of the value for the maximum demand to operate the plant, to operate the buildings with the appropriate power that you declare for the first establishment of the building before before it will be hand over to the owner of the building. So consultant should declare, submit the form to require power from the TMB. So if you use the less numbers of the power declared compared to the declared one, so you will have the connected load charge by the utility. So this one is a kind of the charge, not penalty, but charge, because TMB or utility need to prepare something to if you require a power more, for example, 10,000 kilowatt for the maximum demand. So TMB will prepare another extra infrastructure to supply to your building, to your operation. Okay, that one. If you not use within the appropriate declaration that you have made, so TMB will charge you, which is in the clause of the connected load charge. Faham ke? Do you get it? So for this CLC, will be have, okay, I will explain more later on about the CLC on how to calculate the charge of the CLC later on. Okay, this one is the category for the voltage: extra low voltage, medium voltage. Medium voltage for started from 1 kilovolt to the 35 kilovolt, and for the high voltage, beyond than 33 kilovolt to 230. So extra high voltage, this one started from 230 kilovolt to 100 kilovolt. And we have this definition: the low voltage will refer to the type of tariff. Type of tariff will reflect to this one of the category for voltage. So if the consumer require more voltage and more infrastructure, will be prepared by the TMB. Will be prepared by TMB, and consumer need to pay, need to have a different kind of the substation, especially to install high capacity for the transformer. This slide shows the following consumer that I think available currently in Malaysia. So tariff A for domestic, B low voltage commercial. Okay, please understand this type of tariff. I did mention about the voltage type. Okay, so the determination of the consumer will be based on the voltage supply by TMB, because TMB not supply current but supply voltage. Okay, tariff A domestic, the low voltage. Tariff B low voltage commercial. C1, C2. Okay, C1 is the medium voltage, which is 11 or 33 kV. And this C1 will have a flat tariff, different to the C2. The C2 is based on the TOU, time of use, that you have calculated the example just now. You have calculated that one has been calculated based on the C2, and also for E2 and E3. TOU, time of use. Okay, D, LV industry, E1, E2. So this one, peak of peak commercial. You can see here for the C2 peak of peak. This one is very important. You need to understand why TMB offer the industry and commercial for the peak and off-peak price. Okay, if let's say the manufacturing or plant running for 24 hours, and then you can have a good facility and a good arrangement to have this peak and off-peak price. Okay, at least you as the engineer or plant manager later on, if you want to put the schedule for the operation and try to make it possible to move the load, the operation to the off peak, because off peak will be charged with the lower charge compared to the peak period. That one is one of the advantage for the consumer to have to lower down the cost of electricity, as well as the TMB will have the advantage on to reduce the stress of the power generation. So this price signal, especially for the TOU, and later on I will explain about the ETOU, enhanced time of use tariff, that help the consumer to enjoy the what we call it, the cost minimization, and also during this kind of the offer, the MB will have the benefit when the consumer able to when the consumer are able to do the load shifting. They call it as load shifting, to shift the load from the peak to the off-peak period. So instead of the consumer get to lower down the electricity cost and TMB, as well as the power generation, will be mitigate the stress of the power generation during the peak hour. Okay, this one, the rate structure domestic, you can read, please, you can refer by your own later on. Okay, started new rates in 2004 as the reflect to the IBR regime introduction was introduced in 2014. We have a new base tariff in Malaysia. So this one is the tariff offer for the domestic. We call it this tariff domestic for residential. We call it as block tariff, because you can see here, as the power consumption is increased, and you get the increment of the charge, okay, of the charge. So based on the block tariff, we call it as block tariff. So if you increase the consumption of the electricity, increase, and the charge also will be increased. This one's for low voltage commercial, still in a block tariff, but instead of residential, that have 5 blocks, but for the low voltage commercial, that only have 2 blocks. But the started 200 kilowatt hour with the 43 cent instead of 21.8 cent for the domestic. This one low voltage, okay, started. Okay, this one C1. Look at the C1 different to the C2. Okay, C1 and C2. So C2 have two kind of different tariff for the peak and off peak, and C1 only have one what I call it, one price for all the kilowatt hour. Okay, but look at to the maximum demand for C1 compared to the C2. So maximum demand for C1 quite lower compared to the C2. This one for, okay, you can refer here, C1 and C2. And D for SME, the small, medium company, enterprise. So they conventionally use D, D for 415 voltage, low voltage level. And also representing by block tariff. Okay, we move to the next slide, which is the tariff for the industrial consumer, medium voltage. This one not commercial, this one industrial consumer. So E1 flat tariff. This one flat tariff and maximum demand charge, the 29.6. E1S, this one is the special tariff for the industry that I think no more special tariff. Started 2018, so no more E1S in the market. So just ignore this one, E2, etc. So just ignore that one. So we have E2 for the time of use, TOU. Remember this term, TOU. 29.9, 35.5. So have this C2 have different tariff for peak and off peak. And also a bit higher charge for the maximum demand compare when it is compared to the E1. This one is the flat tariff. Okay, high voltage for E3. Look at the price for E1, E2, and E3 for the kilowatt hour one. Okay, we can see that E3 will be charged with the lower kilowatt hour charge compared to the E1 and E2. This one, very lower one, 20 cent and 30 cent compared to the E1, 33, 35, 31, okay. So E3 for the high voltage, the supply at 132 or 275, especially for the metal manufacturing, okay, for the oil and gas plant. So they use E3, E3 electricity tariff. So you can another tariff you can refer to this slide for the mining, for the street lighting. Okay, they have varies of tariff that has been charged to the consumer, but most of the dedicated consumer in Malaysia goes to the domestic, commercial, and industry, and little numbers for the few numbers lah actually for this agriculture, mining, etc. This one top up and standby. I did mention about the top up and standby. Okay. Other applicable charge. Okay. So now we are going to learn on the other applicable charge, especially for the power factor, late payment penalty. This one power factor. The customer must achieve a minimum power factor of 0.85 for the medium and low voltage level, or in high voltage level, they need to commit to achieve 0.9. A penalty shall be imposed if this minimum power factor is not achieved. So there are calculation based on the calculation for the low and medium voltage consumer. So the first decision you need to identify what's kind of the type for the consumer customer that use the electricity. So the power factor charge will be based on them, will be based on the voltage type, medium and low, need to commit with the minimum power factor of 0.85. But however, for the high voltage level, they need to commit the power factor value of 0.9. Later on, I will teach you on how to calculate the power factor charge if that is the consumer that not achieve a minimum power factor. Late payment 1%, okay, this one not critical. 30% surcharge for temporary supply, this one not so critical. 1.6, okay, connected load charge, okay, this one connected load charge. Let us see how we can calculate the connected load charge. Applicable for the first 6 years from the date of supply connected. Okay, for the 6 years only. But for the first year, TMB will monitor and not given charge for the consumer yet. If they're not able to achieve at least 70%, from the its declared maximum demand. So for the first year, TMB will not charge the consumer. But for the second year until the last 6 year, TMB will charge. So for the 5 year, TMB will monitor and charge the consumer if they're not able to achieve at least 35% from the declared maximum demand. So to mitigate the risk on non-utilization of asset capacity made available to the consumer based on their declared load requirement, which is not recoverable from tariff for the above period only. So this one is the penalty charge for every single kilowatt hour that not achieved by the consumer, which is 8.5 ringgit. 8 ringgit 50 sen per kilowatt. Okay, so that's the reference maximum demand RMD. So shortfall between the actual maximum demand used compared to the reference maximum demand RMD. So what is the RMD? On how we can calculate the RMD. So let's proceed to the next slide. For the first 3 years, for the first 3 years, for the first year, okay, look at the reference maximum demand, 0% multiply with the 75% multiply with the declared maximum demand. So 0 multiply with the any numbers will be 0 charge lah for the first year. Okay, so let's see the second year. Second year, at least 50% multiply with the 75%. 75% will be the reference for at least 75% to get the multiply with the declared maximum demand or higher record MD, which is higher. So if the declared maximum demand 5,000 and the achieved maximum demand to date is more than that, and you need to have the higher value of the recorded maximum demand. But if not achieve 5,000, for example, you declare 5,000 and not achieve, so put 5,000. Okay, so the RMD should be around 50% multiply 75 multiply with 5,000. So that one is the reference maximum demand. So you should have that RMD, okay, for the second year. Let's see the example. Try calculate this one. Okay, let's see. We declare 5,000. This one is the declare one. 5,000 declare 5,000 kilowatt hour. So what's the value of the RMD for the second year? Cuba kali 50% multiply with 75% multiply with the 5,000 kilowatt hour. Berapa dapat? RMD, reference maximum demand. Satu 1875. So 1875 kilowatt hour RMD, ya. RMD for second year. Okay, because we declare 5K kilowatt hour declare. So let's say that for second year, the building just only use 1,000 kilowatt hour. Kilowatt for second year. This building use only 1,000 kilowatt hour because the the ramping, for example, student building lah, new building, okay, has been developed, okay. So for the second year, because the workers not really, the ramping for the workers is only 50%, for example, and the system is not fully operate yet. Okay, so they only use 1,000 kilowatt for maximum demand. Okay, so the difference between maximum demand for that month and the RMD, okay, what's the difference between RMD and maximum demand for that month? 1,000, so 1,875 minus 1,000. So balance about 875 kilowatt, isn't it? Betul tak? So the balance one, 875 kilowatt will be charged because, okay, this building should be achieve RMD for the second year. Achieve or more than 1,875 kilowatt for the second year. So this one is the determination. The MB say that, hey, you need to achieve more than this kind of the value, RMD, reference maximum demand. But now for this one, you not achieve this one. You only achieve 1,000 kilowatt. Okay. So the balance from the comparison from the RMD, the reference maximum demand, and the real maximum demand achieved for that month, okay, the balance from that will be the charge, will be the CLC penalty charge from the TMB. So the balance 875 will be multiplied with the value of charge, which is RM 8.75. RM5. Okay, so what's the cost for the CLC charge for this month? For example, okay, so 875 multiply with RM8.50. So berapa charge? The actual charge. Cuba kira. 7437.5. Good. 7437.5. That one is the charge, the charge from the TMB for the CLC. So make sure you later on join we join the consultant or join in the consultant later on. So make sure you have this idea on how to calculate the CLC. Make sure the building owner will not be charged by the CLC, okay, by the TMB for the CLC. So please design and operate your buildings, your operation properly so that you can avoid the charge, CLC charge for your operation later on. Okay, the different RMD calculation formula for the year 3, year 4, year 3 is different, about 75%, and TMB consider that your operation must be 100% running for the year 4. Okay, year 4, year 5, and year 6 will be charged with the fully 100% operation. So for year 1, they not consider 0% operation. For the 02, at least 50% operation must be run. Okay, must be run. And 75% for the year 3. And for year 4, the MB has considered that your plant or your manufacturing and your building has fully operated. Okay, this one is the example of CLC calculation. For year 1, no calculation, okay, penalty. And for year 2, so this one is the maximum demand declared to the TMB. For example, 10,000. So year 1, no CLC charge. For year 2, need to operate at least 50%. This one is the calculation. And RMD here. You need to determine the RMD for the 6 years. If you declare the maximum demand for about 10,000 kilowatt here, okay, please define your RMD first. So you need to make sure that you achieve your RMD or more than, use the maximum demand more than that. If not, you will be charged for the CLC. And notice that, okay, please look at the year 3. Year 3, okay. Year 3, if you operate with the actual maximum demand 5,000 kilowatt only, okay. So the RMD, the reference maximum demand, you should achieve 5,620 kilowatt hour. So balance from that will be calculated and multiply with this CLC charge will be calculated by multiplying the 8.5 ringgit multiply with the balance between the power between RMD and actual maximum demand. So the CLC charge is 5,312.50 cent. So that one is the charge. Any question? Okay, for the year 4, year 5, and year 6, okay, no more penalty because the building or the operation achieve the minimum requirement for the reference maximum demand, which is need to 100% operate, but within the 75% from the declaration one, declared CLC. Any question? Huh? Apa jadi? Syafiq tanya, apa jadi kalau AMD lagi tinggi dari uh, maximum demand declare? Okay, back to the basic. So, back to the basic. If the AMD, the actual maximum demand is higher compared to the maximum demand declared. Okay, so you need to upgrade your system to re-declare with the TMB. Re-declare to the TMB. So that's one the sign to upgrade your voltage level. For example, you are declaring your you have the incoming substation for 11 kilowatt, for example. So you need to upgrade from 11 to the 33 kilowatt kilovolt, okay, kV, 33 kV. And if you need more power or maximum demand, and please calculate your load as well, okay. So that one you will you need to upgrade to the high voltage one, and you need to re-declare your maximum demand. TMB will notice on this one, okay. If your maximum demand is declared maximum demand is more higher compared to the actual maximum demand is higher compared to the maximum declare one, okay. So you need to look back to the your operation and try to upgrade your substation. At least you will have a proper what we call it, a sizing for the transformer, etc. later on. Okay. So the other one, the other answer for that one, you need to pay more for the maximum demand, maximum demand charge. Okay. For example, we declare 10 kilowatt, 10,000 kilowatt for maximum demand, and you draw your maximum demand every month more than that, 12,000 kilowatt. Okay, so you need to pay more for the charge, MD charge. But no charge for CLC. CLC charge, connected load charge, no charge. But you need to look at back the connection and your load and your appropriate size for the transformer. Okay, and advise your boss to upgrade the substation. If you 415 and try to upgrade to 11 to medium voltage, or from the 11 to 33, and if not, then go to high voltage one. Okay, Shafiq. Good question, good question. Any question? Any other question? Can we proceed? Okay, electricity bill sample. This one bill, okay, for UTEM. UTEM. Mana-mana lah. Okay, look at this one. So number of days, tariff type C1. But UTEM, we have OPTR discount. So later on, we explain what is OPTR. So OPTR basically the scheme offered by TMB for the C1 or E1 consumer to try to improve the load factor. If we are able to improve the load factor, which is the ratio, or I think that one is the ratio between energy consumption over maximum demand, and maximum demand multiply with the time and the days in 1 month. So if we can improve the load factor, which is to reduce the maximum demand and to manage the energy consumption, and we can enjoy the 20% discount offered by TMB through this OPTR program. So that one offer by TMB to the C1 and E1 consumer. Okay. Okay, look at this number 2, the column number 2, which is the base, the main component of the electricity charge. We have a peak and off peak. So 20% during the C1 or PTR. So there are two kind of charge. If we able to improve the load factor, and we able to get the discount about 20% for the off peak. So 0.365 multiply with 80%, we can get the amount of the discount over there. But basically, we have maximum demand charge and kilowatt hour charge, which is the energy consumption charge. Okay, so total electricity cost over here, 400K, approximately 400K. And the other component, okay, this one is total energy consumption. Okay, so this one is the other component of charge. Okay, look at the rebate ICPT. So here for last year, this one is the bill for last year or last year. Bulan berapa ni? Bulan January last year. So rebate ICPT still 0.02, but now started in February this year. So for commercial consumer or industrial consumer, there will be surcharge for the ICPT, which is not minus, but surcharge is plus to pay more the electricity tariff for the ICPT. So surcharge dia tak naik rebate dah, surcharge for ICPT. So discount TMB, why discount? Discount for about 10%, 10% discount from the base tariff, from the base tariff, discount 10% because TMB offer discount for the educational institution, apa lagi, rumah ibadat, okay, and also for welfare house. Okay, welfare institution. So that one is the MB will offer the discount for this kind of the buildings for the consumer. So 10%. So we can see the minus over here, minus 39K. So charge, connected load charge, CLC. So UTM also have a CLC. CLC charge. We have declare our new maximum demand. New maximum demand started in 2017, because the substation was upgrade from 11 to 33 kV during the construction of the new student hostel, Satria Hostel. So we are upgrading ourselves from 11 kV to 33 kV, and the UTM also consider any new buildings during that development for the FKP, for the FTMK, and new Dewan Kuliah over there. So they declare for the maximum demand for about 9,000 kilowatt, 9,000 kilowatt. If I'm not mistaken, 9,000 kilowatt for the MD declaration. So until now, because the period not yet achieved 6 years, so we still been discharged or charged by CLC, C connected load penalty. Okay, about 22 or 22 to 30 lah, 30 every month. Okay, so KWT BB for the RV1 1.6 and surcharge. Wah, ada lewat bayar juga kat sini. 1% lewat bayar ni. Especially for the government buildings, because we close our account for the December. Okay, and when we open up the account, so there is some delay for the payment. So TMB will charge about 1,700. So this one is the another components for the charge, billing charge. Okay, billing charge. So look at the last one in our electricity bill. We will have the numbers of meter over here, the meter. Okay, so meter will read the kilowatt hour one, maximum of this one, peak, off peak, maximum demand, peak, and also for the kilowatt of peak. Okay, so we have also kVAR hours. Okay, this one is 5 meters indicator, and the peak power, peak power consumption, the peak power consumption over here for about 5,600. So what's the difference between maximum demand and the peak muatan tertinggi dicatat? The peak demand, the peak power consumption. Okay, that one is the difference, because maximum demand we consider the large power in 30 minutes, which means for the first minute until 30 minutes, that's the large power, not the peak one. maybe the peak one, the 5,000 kilowatt hour, this one is the 1 second peak and not maintained for the 30 minutes. So that one is we will not consider as the maximum demand. The maximum demand will the large power within the 30 minutes. That one we will consider as the maximum demand. And if the peak demand draw for 1 minute only, okay, that one we not consider as the maximum demand. And also it will also only consider as the peak demand. Any question? Rupanya macam-macam ada dekat bill for the commercial or industry. Okay. Okay, let's try this one. I think this one is the last slide for today. We try to calculate to get this idea to calculate this one. Okay, the maximum demand, the MD peak, this one is the value. So MD of peak power consumption, and off peak power consumption. So for C2 consumer, which is the TOU, they use two kind of the different rates for the peak and off peak. Okay, so we have done for the this one. Okay, try to get understand. So we have peak power consumption for 1 month is about 500,000 kilowatt hour, and for the off-peak one, 320,000 kilowatt hour. So try to get the cost for this one. You can get this one, okay, for the peak and for the peak cost. And also for the maximum demand, multiply with the 45.1, and you will get this amount of charge. Okay, so sum up all the charge for the peak and off peak and also for maximum demand, you get the total bill for this kind of the load profile. We call it as load profile. Load profile. So you can see here, every single 30 minutes, the meter we build, we record the power consumption. This one is the power consumption, Monday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so you have the idea for the standard working weekend and weekdays. Okay, weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and also for the Monday. This one is the pattern of the electricity for the 24 hours. Okay, 24 hours for a medical center. Okay. So what's the percentage of the base load? What's the percentage of the base load? What's the base load? Base load, the definition of base load is the operation, the off-peak operation that we need to maintain to operate the 24 hours operation, or the base operation to operate the buildings. For the safety one, for the standard operation, or the critical operation. For hospital, okay, you can see that started from the 10 p.m. until the 8 p.m. will be the base load, the base load. Okay. Here, the area for the base load. This one, the base load area. Okay, that the load running or operates, okay, to support the operation of the hospital. For example, this one is the profile for the hospital. Okay, what's the percentage of the base load for this hospital? To get the base load, okay, try to calculate off-peak value of the power consumption or energy consumption over what? Over total consumption. So try to calculate total consumption for this hospital. Total energy consumption. Berapa dapat? Total energy consumption. Okay, sum up the energy consumption for peak and off-peak. So you can get the total energy consumption. Berapa? 900 something. 900,000 kilowatt hour something. Please calculate. Tambah dulu ni. 896121. Betul? Eight nine six 121 kilowatt hour total energy consumption. To get the base load, or peak load, the percentage one, so use this one, 320,000 kilowatt hour ni over this one. So you multiply with 100%. So you can get what's the percentage of the base load. Bahagikan base load. So 320,668 kilowatt hour multiply with 100%. So berapa persen dapat? Berapa? $35 point? 68 eh? $35.6. Okay. 35.6% the base load. So which mean that the operation of the hospital need at least 35% to operate during the off-peak, which is the base load, the base load. But the base load percentage also can be calculated by multiplying the off-peak, MD off-peak over total MD, or over MD peak. So we can get the idea what's the percentage of power consumption during the base load. Okay. Okay, before we end of our class, so from here, okay, so what's your task for today is to okay, if this consumer want to change their tariff to C1, C1. So this one is the calculation for C2. For C2. So I need your answer if this, okay, if this consumer or hospital want to convert to C1. So calculate, make it a comparison between this value, the total bill for C2 currently, and if this hospital want to change their tariff to C1, to switch their tariff from C2 to C1. So what's the total bill? Try, if you are the consultant or energy manager for this hospital, okay? So the director of the hospital asks you to make an analysis to compare between the C1 and C2 tariff. So what's the affordable tariff offer for this kind of the load profile, load pattern, something like this hospital that suit the tariff, suitable for a tariff that's suitable for this kind of the load profile. So please update and calculate, compare from this kind of C2 to the C1. Okay. So nanti post your answer, your calculation as usual in our WhatsApp group. Okay, to confirm your attendance for today. Ken, any question? So tariff for C1, you can refer to the previous slide. Any question? Any question? Okay, thank you, Daniel, for your response. Okay, so I think that's all for today. If there is no question, so that's all for today. So I will let you calculate the C1 bill from the C2 based on the load profile that has been given in the slide, lecture slide just now. So please provide your calculation and your answer, the comparison. So what's the difference between C1 and C2, and please advise the director, consider you are the consultant or energy manager for that hospital. So you need to answer your director's question. Okay. So that's all. Good luck all. Okay. Please do it by your own. Try to understand. Try to understand, because this one is very fundamental one. To calculate the electricity tariff and to compare the bill. Later on, if you are working in the industry and your boss asks you to compare what's the affordable tariff that suit to your energy profile, and you can understand it more because you have this kind of the fundamental knowledge. Okay, good luck. That's all. I will monitor your answer in the WhatsApp group later on. Okay, so the time given is about 2 hours, 2 hours before 5:30. Before 5:30. Okay, thank you. Good luck. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you tomorrow. Okay, welcome. Bye.